Hi, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We are going to build an email in the new email builder together. So I'm shortly going to share my screen. Just some logistics. You can find the Q&A on the right side of the screen or the chat. So if you have any questions during this webinar, you can just leave them there in your original language, even if that's easier. My colleague Girbaud is also present. He will be having a look at the chat to maybe answer your questions while I'm building the email, because I won't see the chat. But we'll get back to your questions after the demo is completed. So again, we're very happy that you're joining us today. We're both from the product team at Flexmail. So if you have any questions, feedback, maybe even feature requests, we are very much looking forward to hear about them. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so we're going to build an email, of course. It will be a monthly newsletter for a pet store. We're going to share some tips on health and on dogs specifically. So we're aiming this at an audience that consists of dog owners. If you look at the new builder, a big difference is that you have two sidebars. The left one is new, and here you can find all elements and structures that you can place on the canvas. So you only need this when you're placing new elements in your message. On the right-hand side, you find the styling sidebar or the settings sidebar, where you can set general settings for this specific email. So we're going to start with that. I'm going to use a content width of 600 pixels. This is default. I'm going to keep this. Why? Depending on screen sizes, this is the most optimal screen size. If you make this bigger, that's possible, but then it could be possible that some recipients need to scroll horizontally to see your content. So we're going to keep it like this. Alignment, I'm going to keep as center as well. And I'm going to change the background color to white because I want to create a newsletter that has every row completely colored. The font I can choose as well. I'm going to leave it on Arial and font color on black. And I'm going to change the link color to white. And I'm not going to underline them. So the first thing that we'll do is I'm just going to drop my contents on the canvas, and then we're going to style that together. So I go to structures. I want to start with a navigation bar with a logo and or a header bar, basically, with a logo and a navigation. So I'm going to choose a 2-column design. And then I'm going to go to elements to drop my logo and the navigation, like so. I'm going to place them already. So I'm clicking on the image. I go to select image. I go to my to the correct folder. I choose my logo, insert file, and then I have a document ready. I'm just going to copy my navigation and put it in here. Remember, there are already links in here for my document. I chose a default white link color, which is why the texts are white right now. We're going to fix that later on. Next, I'm going to create an article, also a 2-column design for this one. And I'm going to place title elements, a body text, and a button, like so, and an image on the left as well. I'm going to place an image. This will be my dog. It's not my dog, but a dog. Then a title, a body text, and a button text. Like so. Then I'm going to go for a second article. Again, 2-column design. with an image, a title, a text, and a button. And again, the title, my body copy, my button copy. Maybe also let's already add the URLs. Add a link, like so. I'm going to save this already. There's no longer an autosave. That's a big difference. Also, there's no more versioning where we save a version of that email every few seconds because there's usually not a lot of difference between those different versions that you save. Instead, we opted for a back and forward option. So if I go back, I remove the link that I just placed and I can just go forward. And then it goes back to the last saved version. So this will give you a lot more control on what you're actually doing in the builder. So I'm going to add an image here as well. This one, like so. Let's add some styling. I want to alternate the background colors of my my newsletter. So this will be a white article, and here we're going to go for the same yellow that is in the background of this image, which is also the primary brand color of our pet shop branding. So we'll go for that yellow. This is a content background color, and this is the background color for the entire row, which I'm also going to make yellow. Going to do the same thing for the header initially. So this looks probably okay, but I want to emphasize a bit more the difference between my header and my primary article. So I'm going to go for a darker version of our branding color, which would look like this. So at first you need to paste the color that you want to use, but you could choose it from the color picker as well. Let's see. Next, this looks a bit dodgy, so I'm going to go for this text block. The default text color was black. There's no link on the little dashes here, so I need to change those. So we'll change that up to white. Another thing that I want to do is I want to add some margins on my different columns. Because if this would be scaled down to a smaller screen size, all my texts and my images would paste against the border of my email, of those 600 pixels that I defined. So we can do that by going to the column. There is some default margin sometimes, depending on the element that you choose. But for this specific one, I want to change the margins of this column to top and bottom margin of 15. And I'm going to go for 10 pixels on the left and on the right. I'm going to do the same thing for the second column. Like so. I want to align, I want to align my left columns left and my right columns right. So we'll change the alignment on our navigation as well. This logo I find a bit too big. So if I go to the image settings, you will find the option auto width here. This means that it will just take the maximum width available within the space that my image occupies. So in this case, my image will be as big as the column that it's in. I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to scale this down to 80% maybe. That looks a bit better as well. And then I'm going to drop this navigation more so that it aligns with the bottom of my logo. So we're going to go to the text settings here and change the top margin. Let's start with 30. Like so. Okay. My navigation looks fine. I'm going to save already. Let's have a look at our image, our first article. I see there's already a question. Why don't you underline links? That's a good question. It depends a bit on the design that I'm going for. I could underline the links. I'll show you. That would look like this. That's possible. I think it's clear enough that this is a navigation that you can click it. This isn't the main action that I want people going for. I want to put as much emphasis on the buttons as possible. But if you think it would be better to underline them and make it more clear that it's a link, which is true, definitely, then you can definitely underline them. I'm going to show you another example of when on my third article on when that looks better on or off. Let's leave it like this. If I go to my first article, I'm going to do the same thing with the margins. So 15 on the top and bottom, and 10 on the left and on the right. I always do this just to keep the elements, the text away from the border, but that's something that you choose for yourself, of course. Again here, 15. Yeah, 15 and 10 on the left and on the right. There will be a recording, by the way. So once the webinar is concluded, the software will automatically generate a replay, and you will receive it in your mailbox once that's completed. Okay. So for my text, for my title, I want to go for a white font color. I'm going to make this a bit bigger as well. I'm going to change my line height. Yeah, I'm going to change my line height to a bit less, like 120. Going to do a white font color for the body copy as well. Make this a bit bigger too. And here I think the line spacing could be a bit bigger to make it more readable. Like so. For my button, I'm also going to align that on the left. I want to go for a black button, and then of course a white font color. Here the same thing applies for the width. It's default to fit to text. I like bigger buttons, so I'm going to cross that out. If I switch this off, it will take again the max width available within this column. I find that to be a bit too big, so we can downscale that like so, maybe a bit more. Yeah, like so. Then I want to align the my text with the dog. So I'm going to go to the second column and then make the top or drop that a bit more. Yeah, like so. Save again. For my second article, we're going to do the same thing. Maybe make the title a bit bigger as well. The fonts, the body copy too, change the line heights. And make it smaller here. like so. And then the button here, we're going to go for the same yellow that we used here. And a white font color, align this left as well. Yeah, and then again, I'm going to change the margins on the columns. And the same on the second column. Let's see. I don't really like the fact that this is, the article isn't reading, right? So what we can do is put in a structure in between, and then I'm going to put in a spacer, and the default height of that spacer is 50 pixels, which I find ideal to for the space available here, which you can make it smaller or bigger if you want. Going to drop in another article. There will be some copy in here later on, but the next thing that we'll build is a yellow article to alternate the background colors. But I just want to demonstrate something first. So here I want the same width at the bottom that I have here. So just take this one, duplicate this structure. And if you want to move a structure, you can use this icon and drag it below to make this equal. We could drop this image a bit to align that more with the article. Yeah, that's probably okay. Another thing that's really cool in a new builder is that I can switch to mobile, and then I can completely change the mobile version to optimize this for mobile readers as well. So this looked fine, but when you go to mobile, we probably want to clean this up a bit as well. So let's go here. The logo I want to align center, and I probably want to do the same thing to the navigation here, and basically to all elements. I want to center them all on mobile. My button as well. My dog. Oh, that's centered. Everything else. Like so. There, you can see this icon appear once I made changes to mobiles, just to make it really clear that there are differences for this specific element on mobile versus desktop. There are a couple of other elements that you or mobile settings that you need to see. The visibility. So, for example, if I don't want to show this dog, I could just turn it off, and then it won't be visible for mobile readers. You can do the same thing on desktop. So if I want to change the image and put another image in for mobile readers, then you can hide that image on desktop versus the mobile one. Another thing that you can do, let's go to this structure, for example, is if you want to stack the columns or not. Stacking columns just means that one will appear below, the second one will appear below the first one. On mobile, if I turn this off, it would look like this, which isn't optimal in this specific example, of course, but it's possible. Yeah, this probably looks okay. Next thing that I want to do is build a sort of banner with text in it. So we'll place a header and a baseline for my header, and we're going to use this text. to make this white. I want to make this bigger. Yeah, a lot bigger probably. It's a bit much. Like so, center it, and then my baseline will be this. Also center. Yeah, like so. Then I want to put in a structure with 3 columns. Use the same background color. Like so. We're going to put in different images. And fill them. Like so. I want to create some space between these because this isn't looking really clean. So we're again going to the column margins, and we'll put in some margin on the left and on the right. Let's start with 10. Same thing here. Like so. As you can see here, column sizes are calculated with percentages. You cannot divide 100% by 3. So the biggest column, the middle column is a bit bigger, but my images are all the same sizes. So I can clean this up a bit by adding some margin on this specific image as well. So let's add 2 pixels on either side, and that solves that problem. This is cool, this feature, because you can actually change those sizes as well. So for example, if I want to make that dog appear bigger, I could drag these columns, the column sizes accordingly. Let's go back to our elements or our structure here, because I want to add some texts in here as well. Let's add a title and a body text, and put in some copy here as well. These will be white, a bit smaller and centered. I'm going to change the line height as well, just to really make this one general ID basically. Making this white as well and center. That line spacing is probably okay. I'm going to put on a link on all elements here. So on the image, because I want to make this entire column clickable, basically. On the text, you do this by just selecting the text, go to URL here, put that in, and same thing here. If you would underline this, it would make it really clear that this is clickable, but it doesn't look that clean. I think we could do here without the a button and just put it on the images and the text, but that's something that you could A/B test to see if your audience is, if that's clear enough to your audience. I'm going to leave the underline just to make this as clean as possible. I'm going to duplicate this for my other articles as well. And drag it. Oh. Yeah, I need to wait before that line appears, like so. And then the same thing here. Like so. Change the copy. This is a giveaway, so we need to change the links as well. And then our third article. And change the link there as well. Like so. Let's give this a bit more margin at the top as well, just to clean that up. Yeah, let's go for 30 maybe. And then we could do the same thing below by just putting margins at the top of every article, or I could just take this one, drop that below as well, take that yellow background color. Like so. Also, I want to personalize this with the name of my pet. I've made a custom field for that. But let's say I don't have the first name of the pet of every one of my contacts. If I don't, then this would look really weird. So there is an option in Flexmail to use different personalization placeholder. There's a fallback option, which I need to copy here. Hang on. Like so. So I'm going to replace this personalization token with this one. And this says, put in the name of the pet if I have it. If I don't have it, I want to set a fallback, which will be my original text, which is your pet between the apostrophes. Yeah, that looks great. So I'm going to go for the mobile version as well. My second article, and here you can find my 3 columns. I really want to make it clear which text belongs to which image, so I want to make these images smaller. So this is an adjustment that I'll make for mobile as well. I'm going to drop this by putting a different margin. Yeah, let's go for 30 maybe. And we'll do the same thing for every image. So here we want to go for a width of 70% as well, and a bottom margin of 30. And the same thing for a third article, like so. And yeah, that margin probably looks fine because we have that spacing here as well. And as you can see, my desktop still looks fine. Okay, I think I can continue building, of course, but I think that those are the main elements that you should probably see. Let's have a look at our chat here. Yeah, will the recording of the webinar be shared? Yes, you will. You will receive it later on. Yeah, the justifier option in the alignment, that's not supported in Outlook, which is why we don't include it in the webinar. So we aim for 80 to 85% of compatibility with the different email clients to make sure that what you're building looks as close to what it will look like in an email client. Is it possible to have a template with headers and footers so that we only need to work on the layout of the content part? Do we need to recreate it every time? So this is the first version of the builder. You can create your emails, send them, you can duplicate them, and then use that as a base. We're still adding templating options and a couple of additional new elements as well in the coming weeks and months. So right now you would have to recreate it, or if you, let's go to the main message overview. This is the email that I've created. If you go to the settings, you can just duplicate this and replace the content, and then you basically have your template. But we'll be adding more dynamic templating options later on. Changing column size is fantastic. Great, lovely. Is it correct that the social media buttons are not in the new version? It isn't, but we're building that right now, so it will be coming normally in the next 2 weeks. We're also adding a list element. So in the old builder, you could paste a list with list items with buttons. But we want to give you a lot more options there as well, and optimize how that would look in Outlook and in other different email clients. So we're adding the option that you can choose the list item icon, and you could even use emojis and stuff like that. So those are the 2 next elements that will be coming very shortly. Great. Are there any more questions? How well does dynamically changing the size of comments and images translate to Outlook? A good chunk of our target audience still views our emails there. Yes, that works great. So this builder is completely new, so it isn't using a basis of the old builder in here. So we have a lot of control on the rendering of the different elements and the different settings. So that would look fine on Outlook, but definitely play around with it. You can still use the old builder as well while you're creating your templates in the new builder. So definitely test that out, what that would look like. There isn't an end date or an end of life date for the old builder yet. It will be coming later on, but you will have plenty of time to play around with the new builder to start creating your templates there. But if there will be a deadline, then we'll communicate that with enough time for you to transition. Is there a wiki to follow some of the points you presented, particularly the personalization and fallback aspects? Yes, if you go to the manual and just type in fallback, for example, or personalization, then you will get a page with all the possible combinations and personalization codes. And you can just copy them and use them in your emails. Cool. Okay, fun. I see. Yeah, no, is that the final question? I think so. Okay, cool. If there's anything that you're missing later on, or if there are any questions or things that are unclear, you can always email us at support, and then we're more than happy to have a look with you at your emails. So thanks again for joining, and I wish you a really great afternoon. Thank you.